Hi dreamers! Before we get started with our magical story today, I wanted to ask you to please take a minute to subscribe to my channel. I post bedtime stories daily, and each subscriber helps me continue these magical fairy tale adventures. Today, we will be telling the comforting story of a woman finding herself and discovering who she truly is while traveling. Snuggle up with a blankie and pillow, and prepare to drift off into Dreamland. Elizabeth Gilbert, known to her friends as Liz, was a successful writer living in New York City. She was a woman in her early 30s, intelligent, articulate, and by all outward appearances, living a fulfilling life. Her days were a mix of deadlines, book readings, and the vibrant energy of the city. She had a stylish apartment, a group of supportive friends, and a seemingly stable marriage. Liz, with her expressive features, and often wearing well-tailored city clothes, perhaps a sharp blazer, stylish scarf, and comfortable but elegant shoes for navigating the city streets, exuded an air of modern independence and accomplishment. Yet, beneath the surface of this seemingly perfect existence, Liz was deeply unhappy. She felt a growing disconnect from her marriage, a sense that she was living a life that wasn't truly her own. Late at night, lying in her comfortable bed in her meticulously decorated apartment, she would experience a profound sense of unease. Instead of drifting off to sleep, she would often find herself having anxious conversations with herself or feeling a sense of dread that she couldn't quite name. She yearned for something more, a sense of purpose and fulfillment that seemed to elude her. The stylish city clothes she wore often felt like a costume, masking a deeper vulnerability and a search for authenticity. The tension in her marriage escalated, leading to a painful and drawn-out separation. The divorce process was emotionally draining, filled with difficult conversations, legal complexities, and a sense of profound loss. The apartment that once felt like a sanctuary now felt like a cage, a constant reminder of the life she was leaving behind. During this time, Liz experienced bouts of depression and anxiety, struggling to cope with the reality that her marriage, a central part of her identity, was over. Her friends, a diverse group of writers, artists, and fellow urbanites, offered support and understanding. Their gatherings often filled with long talks about relationships, dreams, and the search for meaning in a fast-paced world. In the aftermath of the divorce, Liz found herself at a crossroads. She felt lost and unsure of what direction her life should take. The routines that once provided comfort now felt empty. She struggled to focus on her writing, her creative energy stifled by the weight of her emotional turmoil. Simple tasks felt overwhelming, and the vibrant city that once invigorated her now seemed to amplify her feelings of isolation. She realized that she needed to escape, to step away from the familiar and immerse herself in a completely different environment. She craved a change that was more than just a change of scenery. She needed a transformation of her soul. It was during this period of uncertainty that Liz began to formulate a plan. Inspired by a combination of a sense of desperation and a desire for adventure, she decided to embark on a journey of self-discovery, a quest to explore different aspects of herself and the world. She would divide her journey into 3 parts, each focused on a different theme. Eat in Italy to experience pleasure and indulgence. Pray in India to explore spirituality and find inner peace. And love in Bali to open her heart and embrace the possibility of connection. This ambitious plan felt both daunting and exhilarating, a leap of faith into the unknown with the hope of finding her way back to herself. And this is where her journey truly begins. Elizabeth Gilbert, or Liz, had felt the very fabric of her New York life unravel. Her apartment, once a sanctuary of curated taste, had become a cage of escalating anxiety and quiet despair. The sleek, tailored clothes she once favored crisp white blouses, sharp pencil skirts. Minimalist jewelry felt heavy, constricting, a uniform for a life that was no longer her own. She packed them away, along with the remnants of her old identity, choosing instead comfortable, breathable fabrics for her journey. Her first destination, Italy, specifically Rome, she arrived, not with the hurried stride of a tourist, but with the quiet determination of a pilgrim. Her chosen attire for arrival reflected this shift. Soft, flowing linen trousers in a muted olive green, a simple cream-colored cotton top, and well-worn leather sandals that promised many miles of exploration. The moment she stepped into the Roman air, it was an immediate, glorious assault on her senses. The light itself seemed different, a golden, ancient quality that imbued everything with warmth. The symphony of the city was intoxicating, the relentless buzz of Vespas weaving through cobblestone streets, the exuberant shouts of street vendors, the rhythmic clang of church bells marking the hours, and the constant, melodious murmur of Italian voices. A language that seemed to sing rather than speak. From every open doorway, every sun-drenched piazza, billowed the most exquisite aromas, the sharp tang of espresso, the yeasty warmth of fresh bread, the savory promise of simmering tomato sauces, and the sweet, lingering scent of blooming jasmine from hidden courtyards. Liz found a charming, if gloriously imperfect, apartment tucked away on a narrow street just off the Campo de Fiori. Its chipped plaster walls told stories of centuries, and the wooden shutters, painted a faded pistachio green, opened onto a bustling piazza. From her windows, she could witness the daily ballet of Roman life, elderly women haggling over fresh produce, children kicking worn footballs, and lovers strolling hand in hand beneath the ancient arches. Her chosen mission in Italy was simple, yet profound: to truly eat, to shed the intellectualized self-control that had governed her life, to unlearn the self-imposed restrictions, and to embrace the pure, unadulterated pleasure of food, of indulgence, of simply being present. Her days quickly settled into a delicious, unhurried ritual. Mornings often began with a slow, contemplative walk to a nearby pasticceria. The warmth emanating from the bakery was palpable, drawing her in with the scent of butter, sugar, and yeast. She would stand before a glass case, her blue eyes wide with delight, choosing a cornetto, not the overly sweet, often bland American version, but a flaky, delicate Italian croissant, perhaps filled with a whisper of creamy vanilla custard or a sticky smear of apricot jam. Her cappuccino was always served in a thick, warm ceramic cup, the rich, dark espresso crowned with a perfect cloud of foamed milk. She'd linger at a tiny, round outdoor table, her gaze softening as she absorbed the ebb and flow of Roman life, the animated conversations, the quick gestures, the inherent joy in the mundane. Lunch, a hallowed institution, became an exploration of pasta in all its glorious forms. Liz would seek out Trattoria's unpretentious family-run eateries with red and white checkered tablecloths, often a television silently playing a football match, and a kitchen that pulsed with the energy of generations. She savored plates of cacio e pepe, its deceptive simplicity a marvel. Fresh, perfectly al dente pasta, tossed with freshly ground black pepper and pecorino romano cheese, the starchy pasta water, emulsifying into a creamy, luscious sauce. She indulged in amatriciana, a robust, savory sauce where crispy nuggets of guanciale cured pork cheek mingled with sweet tomatoes, garlic, and another generous dusting of pecorino. Each forkful was a revelation, a sensory explosion that silenced the anxious chatter in her mind, a testament to the idea that food, prepared with love and tradition, could be a source of profound joy and connection. She learned to order in halting but enthusiastic Italian, her efforts met with encouraging smiles and gentle corrections from the local waiters and fellow diners. The true magic, however, began to unfold as Liz embraced the language. She enrolled in a small, vibrant Italian language school. The classroom, with its tall, arched windows overlooking a narrow street, was a delightful microcosm of the world, filled with students from every corner of the globe: a young Japanese artist, a retired German couple, a boisterous Australian. Her teacher, Anna, was a whirlwind of vivacious energy, with a cascade of dark, curly hair and expressive hand gestures that seemed to punctuate every syllable. Anna made learning an absolute joy, infusing grammar lessons with laughter and cultural anecdotes. Liz, dressed in comfortable yet stylish linen skirts and breathable cotton blouses, would spend hours poring over verb conjugations and vocabulary lists. The sheer act of learning a new language, a meditative practice, pulling her out of her own tormented thoughts and anchoring her firmly in the present moment. It was here that she quickly forged bonds with a diverse group of fellow language learners. There was Sophie, a sweet, somewhat shy Swedish woman with a quiet curiosity about Italy, often exchanging notes with Liz on grammar and the best local bakeries. There was Giovanni, an effervescent young man from Brazil, always ready with a joke, a flirtatious remark, and an impromptu dance move, bringing a vibrant lightness to the class. And then there was Luca Spaghetti, a warm, jovial Neapolitan man, older than Liz, whose ample frame and booming laugh embodied the very spirit of Italian dolce vita, the sweet life. Luca, with his infectious passion for food and life, quickly became her culinary mentor and confidant, its crisp, charred crust and bubbling mozzarella a revelation. He taught her the art of true Italian coffee, distinguishing between an espresso and a macchiato with almost spiritual reverence, insisting that a proper Roman caffè was a fleeting, perfect moment, not a protracted indulgence. Dinners were lengthy, joyous affairs, often stretching for hours, filled with the robust flavors of regional wine, hearty conversation, and plate after plate of exquisite food. Liz learned to appreciate the sacred ritual of the meal, the way Italians savored every bite, every sip, every shared moment, stretching out the pleasure. She ate succulent saltimbocca, tender veal cutlets topped with salty prosciutto and fragrant sage, pan-fried to a golden perfection. She discovered the simple, earthy perfection of Roman artichokes, deep-fried until crispy on the outside and meltingly tender within, drizzled with olive oil and a pinch of sea salt. And always sempre, there was gelato, smooth, intensely flavored, a velvety dream, the perfect sweet end to every day. She'd choose pistachio for its earthy nuttiness, or cioccolato fondente dark chocolate for its decadent intensity, savoring each cold, sweet spoonful slowly, feeling the delicious sensation melt on her tongue. Liz's body slowly changed. She gained a comfortable weight, yes, but it was not a source of anxiety. It was a testament to her newfound freedom, her joyous embrace of indulgence. Her skin glowed with health, her blue eyes sparkled with a renewed vitality, and the perpetual frown line that had been etched between her brows in New York completely softened, replaced by a relaxed, open expression. She was learning that pleasure wasn't a sin. It was a path to self-discovery, a profound way to connect with the world through her senses. Each delicious meal, each new Italian word learned, each shared laugh with Luca and her new friends was a deliberate step away from her past pain and a joyous step closer to the woman she was becoming. Italy was teaching her how to live again, how to rediscover the gusto of life, one glorious, flavorful bite at a time. But as the months in Italy drew to a close, marked by a final bittersweet passeggiata evening stroll through Rome's bustling streets, a new sense of readiness began to stir within her. The indulgence had been a necessary balm, a feast for her starved senses, but a deeper, more spiritual hunger began to emerge. Her heart felt lighter, her mind clearer, but her soul still yearned for stillness, for understanding, for a profound inner peace that food alone could not provide. Her time in Italy had allowed her to rebuild her foundation, to rediscover the joy of simply being in the world. Now it was time to delve deeper, to seek the answers that lay beyond the realm of the physical senses. Her journey of prey awaited. From the sun-drenched chaos and delicious indulgence of Rome, Liz journeyed eastward to the ancient spiritual heart of India. Her destination was an ashram in a small, quiet village, far from the clamor of cities, nestled amidst lush green fields and winding, dusty roads. She arrived not with the same immediate sensory delight as in Italy, but with a profound sense of anticipation, a readiness to shed the external pleasures and delve into the internal world. Her Italian wardrobe, though comfortable, was quickly replaced by simple, loose-fitting cotton clothing in muted tones, perhaps a light, airy tunic and drawstring trousers, or a plain kurta, suitable for the heat and the ashram's humble environment. She tied her long hair back simply, embracing a more minimalist existence. The ashram itself was a sanctuary of peace and discipline. Its buildings were unadorned, painted in soft, earthy tones of cream and ochre, their simple architecture designed for function rather than adornment. Courtyards were swept clean, and the air carried the ever-present scent of incense, marigolds, and the subtle, earthy aroma of the land. The sounds were different too. The rhythmic clang of a prayer bell marking the time for meditation, the soft murmur of collective chanting, the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze, and the quiet shuffling of sandaled feet. Liz's purpose here was clear: to pray, to seek spiritual understanding, to quiet the incessant chatter of her mind, and to find a connection to something larger than herself. Her days became a strict yet profoundly rewarding rhythm of spiritual practice. Mornings began before dawn, with the communal sound of the gong signaling the start of meditation. She would sit cross-legged on a thin mat in the meditation hall, surrounded by fellow seekers from all corners of the world. Her mind, initially a tumultuous storm of thoughts and anxieties, slowly, gradually began to settle. It was a challenging process, filled with frustration and moments of despair, but she persevered, guided by the patient wisdom of the ashram's teachers. She learned the fundamentals of japa mala using prayer beads to repeat mantras, focusing the mind on a single sound or phrase until it became a soothing hum. She practiced pranayama breath control exercises that calmed her nervous system and brought a profound sense of peace. She participated in seva, selfless service, spending hours sweeping courtyards, washing dishes, or tending to the ashram's gardens. These simple physical acts of service, performed without expectation of reward, became a powerful form of meditation in themselves, grounding her and connecting her to the larger community. The food at the ashram was simple, wholesome, and vegetarian, prepared with mindful intention. It was a stark contrast to the rich indulgence of Italy, yet equally nourishing in its own way. Meals consisted of fragrant lentil dals, fluffy steamed rice, perfectly spiced vegetable curries, and warm, freshly baked chapatis. Each meal was eaten in silence, a practice designed to encourage gratitude and mindfulness, transforming the act of eating into a spiritual observance. Liz learned to appreciate the subtle flavors, the comforting textures, and the profound energy that radiated from such simple, pure sustenance. Liz formed unexpected bonds with her fellow meditators. There was Richard from Texas, a gruff but kind-hearted man who had come to the ashram seeking answers after a personal tragedy. He became a surprising mentor to Liz, offering blunt but compassionate advice when she struggled with her meditation or battled feelings of self-doubt. His simple, grounded wisdom often cut through Liz's overthinking, reminding her to get off the mat and stop thinking so much. There was also Tulsi, a young Indian girl who worked in the ashram kitchen, her eyes sparkling with an innocent joy. Though their conversations were limited by language, they shared smiles and quiet moments of understanding, a testament to connection beyond words. Weeks turned into months, each day a small victory in her battle against the inner noise. Liz's inner landscape began to transform. The constant anxieties that had plagued her in New York, the emotional baggage from her divorce, slowly began to dissipate. She found moments of profound stillness, glimpses of an inner peace she hadn't known was possible. Her face, once marked by worry lines, now held a serene calm. Her usually restless blue eyes were softer, more focused, reflecting an inner quietude. She felt a growing sense of detachment from her ego, a realization that true happiness lay not in external circumstances, but in the peace within. The rigorous discipline of the ashram, the early mornings, the long hours of meditation, the vegetarian diet, all were challenging, pushing her beyond her comfort zone. There were days of intense frustration when her mind rebelled or her body ached from sitting. She faced her own demons, her insecurities, and her unaddressed grief in the quiet solitude of her meditations. But through persistence and the guidance of her teachers, she learned to sit with the discomfort, to observe her thoughts without judgment, and to let them pass like clouds in the sky. As her time in India approached its end, Liz felt a profound shift within her. She hadn't found all the answers, perhaps, but she had discovered a crucial truth, that peace resided within, and that true healing began when one stopped searching outside and started listening inside. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the discipline, the wisdom, and the stillness that India had offered. She felt cleansed both physically and spiritually, ready to open herself to the next chapter of her journey. Her journey of love awaited. From the stark introspection of India, Liz journeyed to the vibrant Emerald Isle of Bali. This was her final destination, a place renowned for its spiritual artistry, lush landscapes, and profound sense of community. Her mission here was the most delicate, the most vulnerable, to finally love, to balance the newfound joy of indulgence from Italy and the inner peace from India with the courage to open her heart again, not just to romantic love, but to self-love, to friendship, and to the inherent beauty of connection. Liz arrived in Ubud, a cultural heartland of Bali, nestled amidst emerald rice paddies and sacred monkey forests. Her ashram attire was replaced by light, breezy fabrics in natural hues, flowing sarongs wrapped gracefully around her waist, comfortable cotton tops that allowed her skin to breathe in the tropical humidity, and simple sandals that could easily navigate the dirt paths. Her long blonde hair, often simply tied back in India, sometimes adorned with a fresh frangipani flower, framed a face that was now noticeably softer, her blue eyes reflecting a deeper well of tranquility and openness. She rented a small, traditional Balinese guest house, a bungalow with an open-air bathroom and a porch overlooking a vibrant green rice paddy. The air was thick with the scent of incense, tropical flowers, and damp earth after the frequent rain showers. The sounds of Bali were a soothing symphony. The melodic rhythm of gamelan music drifting from nearby temples, the gentle croaking of frogs at dusk, the rustling of palm fronds in the breeze, and the ever-present trickling of water in the irrigation channels of the rice fields. Liz quickly sought out Ketut Liar, an elderly Balinese medicine man whom she had met briefly years before on a journalistic assignment. Ketut, with his mischievous grin, sparkling eyes, and wispy white hair, lived in a traditional compound overflowing with carvings, offerings, and the scent of exotic herbs. He was a Bali Balian, a healer, a spiritual guide, and a teller of fortunes, whose wisdom flowed as freely as the water in the rice paddies. Liz would visit him regularly, sitting on his porch, listening to his profound, often humorous, insights on life, love, and the pursuit of balance. Ketut, dressed in his traditional sarong and udding headcloth, would paint her a new fortune on a piece of paper each visit, each one a cryptic yet insightful message about her journey. Through Ketut, Liz began to understand the Balinese concept of balance, of good and evil, light and shadow, joy and sorrow, all coexisting and creating harmony. This resonated deeply with her own healing process, acknowledging that even her past pain had a place in her journey. Beyond Ketut, Liz found herself drawn into the warm embrace of the local community. She volunteered at a small village clinic, assisting Wayan, a Balinese single mother and herbalist. Wayan, with her strong hands and compassionate heart, taught Liz about traditional Balinese healing practices, the power of local herbs, and the resilience of the human spirit. Liz found solace and purpose in helping Wayan prepare herbal remedies for villagers, learning about compassion and service in a new, tangible way. She wore simple t-shirts and sarongs, her hands often stained with the vibrant colors of natural dyes or the earthy tones of healing pastes. Her days in Bali were less structured than in India or Italy, allowing for a natural unfolding. She practiced yoga daily, finding fluidity and strength in her body. She explored the lush landscapes, cycling through rice paddies, feeling the sun on her skin and the wind in her hair. She spent time meditating in ancient temples, feeling the deep spiritual energy of the island. She devoured fresh, vibrant Balinese food, rich curries, grilled fish wrapped in banana leaves, sweet, sticky rice, and an abundance of exotic fruits like mangosteen and rambutan, their unique flavors a delight to her reawakened palate. It was amidst this rich tapestry of healing, learning, and connection that Liz met Philippe, a Brazilian businessman living in Bali. Philippe, a man in his early 60s, with a kind, weathered face, a warm smile, and eyes that held both humor and a hint of shared life experience, was initially drawn to Liz by her quiet intensity and her open curiosity. He too was on a journey, seeking peace and simplicity away from his past. Their relationship began gently, with shared meals at local warrings, small restaurants, and long meandering conversations under the starry Balinese sky. They talked about their pasts, their vulnerabilities, and their hopes for the future. Liz, still cautious after her painful divorce, found herself slowly, tentatively, opening her heart to Felipe. He was patient, understanding, and offered a companionship that felt both comforting and exhilarating. Their dates were often simple, sharing fresh fruit on a beach, walking hand in hand through a vibrant night market, or simply sitting in quiet contemplation, feeling the tropical breeze. Liz felt a profound sense of ease in his presence, a feeling of being truly seen and accepted. The love component of her journey proved to be the most challenging, as it required her to confront her own fears of intimacy and commitment. But the lessons from Italy to embrace pleasure and India to find inner peace had prepared her. She learned that self-love was the foundation for all other love, and that true connection required both vulnerability and strength. She learned that love wasn't about perfection, but about embracing imperfection, both in herself and in others. As her year of travel drew to a close, Liz felt a profound sense of completion. She had eaten, prayed, and loved. she had grieved, healed, and rediscovered herself. Her journey wasn't just about finding a new partner, but about finding a renewed sense of self-worth and purpose. Her face, once etched with worry, now radiated a deep, soulful peace. Her blue eyes, once filled with unspoken pain, now sparkled with wisdom and genuine joy. Liz Gilbert left Bali not as the broken woman who had started her journey, but as a woman whole again, filled with gratitude for the lessons learned, the friendships forged, and the love discovered. She had found her way back to herself, richer for the experiences, wiser for the introspection, and forever changed by the delicious, spiritual, and loving journey around the world. After a year that had reshaped her very essence, Elizabeth Gilbert returned to New York. The city was still the same vibrant, relentless metropolis, yet Liz was undeniably different. The anxieties that once choked her had receded, replaced by a profound sense of calm and a sturdy inner compass. She found a new home, a sun-drenched condo that felt light and airy, adorned with subtle mementos from her travels, a colorful Balinese textile draped over a sofa, a small Italian ceramic bowl on a bookshelf, a string of simple Indian prayer beads hanging by a window. It wasn't about lavishness, it was about space, light, and a feeling of genuine belonging. The decor reflected her journey, a minimalist aesthetic softened by natural textures and muted colors, allowing the global treasures she'd collected to tell their stories. Her kitchen, unlike the often untouched one of her previous apartment, was now the heart of her home, filled with the aroma of fresh herbs and the promise of delicious creations. To celebrate her return and the profound transformation she had undergone, Liz decided to host a dinner party. It was more than just a gathering. It was a testament to her healing, a way to share the wealth of her experiences with the people who had loved and supported her through her darkest days. She chose an evening when the city lights twinkled like distant stars, creating a magical backdrop for her reunion. Her outfit for the evening was simple, yet elegant, reflecting her newfound ease, a flowing dress and a deep sapphire blue, its soft fabric mirroring the comfort she now felt in her own skin. Still kissed by the sun of Bali, fell in soft waves around her shoulders and her blue eyes. Once clouded by worry, now sparkled with a clear, calm light. She wore a few carefully chosen pieces of jewelry, a simple silver bracelet from India, a delicate shell necklace from Bali, subtle reminders of her journey. As her friends arrived, one by one, the condo filled with a joyous cacophony of greetings and hugs. Her close-knit group, the sharp-witted journalist, the supportive artist, the ever-practical lawyer, all noticed the change in her immediately. They saw it in her relaxed posture, the genuine warmth in her smile, the easy laughter that bubbled up from deep within her. The dinner table was a feast, a delicious culmination of her travels. There was a rich, homemade pasta dish, inspired by her Roman lessons, its sauce fragrant with slow-cooked tomatoes and fresh basil. A vibrant, aromatic lentil dal simmered gently, seasoned with the spices she'd learned to love in India. And for dessert, reminiscent of the sweet delights of Bali, Liz had poured her heart into the meal, each dish a story in itself. As they ate, the conversation flowed effortlessly. "So, tell us everything, Liz," her friends urged, their eyes bright with curiosity. Liz, no longer burdened by her past, began to recount her adventures. She spoke of the glorious indulgence of Rome, the exquisite tastes of Cassio e Pepe, and the joy of learning Italian with Luca Spaghetti, her voice alight with vivid descriptions of bustling piazzas and the thrill of sensory pleasure. She described the profound discipline and the often frustrating, yet ultimately transformative meditation practices in her Indian ashram, sharing anecdotes about the blunt wisdom of Richard from Texas and the quiet insights of Tulsi. Finally, she spoke of Bali, her voice softening as she described the lush landscapes, the gentle wisdom of Ketut Liar, the compassionate herbalism of Wayam, and the unexpected, tender emergence of love with Philippe. She spoke of learning to balance pleasure with discipline, and ultimately, how to open her heart to both joy and vulnerability. Her friends listened, captivated. They laughed at her culinary mishaps, gasped at her spiritual breakthroughs, and smiled knowingly at the tale of newfound love. There was no judgment, only a deep sense of understanding and celebration for the woman who had journeyed so far and returned so profoundly changed. As the evening drew to a close, a sense of profound contentment settled over Liz. She looked at her friends, her chosen family, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of the dinner candles, and felt a rush of gratitude. She had found what she was searching for, not just in far-off lands, but within herself, and reflected in the loving eyes of those who surrounded her. Her journey hadn't ended. It had simply taken a beautiful turn, bringing her back to where she truly belonged, with a newfound understanding of how to eat, pray, and love in every precious moment of her life.